Hey, you guys, I'm really excited about this podcast tonight. I have a special guest in the building tonight. We have Terrence Dunbar, LaTerrence Dunbar, I'm sorry,
Thank you.
former NFL player and entrepreneur, philanthropist. Like, you just do so many things, like, so many things. And
Yes.
of course, Dallas native.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Born and
Yes.
raised in Dallas, Oak Cliff.
Oh, Claire, shout out. So, we want to thank you definitely for being in the house tonight. And also, let's just get into it. Can you
All
tell us a
right.
little bit about, give us a little bit about being raised in Oak Cliff and how you got started in football?
Well, of course, my name is LaTerrence Dunbar. Born and raised in Dallas. Um, 1980, I was born a long time ago. God, is it already that long?
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, growing up in Dallas, it was amazing. I've had an opportunity to meet some of my closest friends here in Dallas, an opportunity to now visit with those same individuals that I grew up with in elementary school. These are now city councilmen and these are now police chiefs. So it's exciting to see the growth of my city. But growing up in Dallas playing football was challenging.
I bet, I
Very
bet,
challenging.
I bet, especially coming from the Oakland neighborhood. No shade to Oak Cliff, but I just know that that's a tough neighborhood to grow up in, and to see so much success coming out of that area is huge.
Yeah. Well, right now, South Oak Cliff is doing a phenomenal job. They are fifth. This would be probably the fifth year they'll go to state championship. So
Mhm.
shout out to them. But what I see that's happening at Oak Cliff is why I'm here.
Yeah,
We're now introducing technology in the community. We're now seeing some of this EB5 foreign money that's been going out of the Frisco areas, Cedar Hill area.
yeah,
Now we actually are seeing these dollars trickle down to my community. So that's what I'm so excited about.
yeah, definitely, definitely. And so, your trajectory from football
Uh-huh.
to entrepreneurship and philanthropy is it's been huge. And like you said, a part of that is technology. You want to tell us how you got introduced with some of the technology that you work with today, and what got you interested in it?
Okay. Um, in 1998, I was introduced with an opportunity to be the mayor pro temp's intern. And so that was the first time I really got to see the importance of how my voice could impact the community as a football player. A lot of times we don't get to meet football players because they throw us on these hats and they put a jersey behind us. And so uh, I had an opportunity as being one of the city manager's interns. I got to go to the community and see some of the real problems. And so I made it a vision of mine to first be an entrepreneur.
Let me just pause 1 second. I just want to make sure this is. Oh, yes, good.
It's
Okay,
going?
sorry. Yes.
Okay. So again, I made it a vision of mine to be an entrepreneur. And at before I got to college at TCU, I was already prone to know about taxes. My mom did a good job introducing me to insurance. We was already talking about financial independency and longevity
In
as
the
well.
home, way
Yeah, in
before
the home.
school. That's so good.
So,
Okay, because a lot of people do not do that at all. So that's
yeah,
huge.
yeah.
Shout out to mom for that.
Shout
Good
out to
job.
mom. And so I think that's something that we need to also do as coaches. Stop gatekeeping the things that we learn from our mentors and coaches and start giving it back to the community as well.
Yeah.
And so little tricks of the trade that I learned. And I learned that number one is being humble, but also being vocal. The nonprofit industries and the reason why I started my nonprofit is because I could also be humble as well as be vocal for change.
Hmm. And you said, so an injury in college is what led you to think more about the tech side, right? And think about how you could help the tech industry. Can you
Well, of
talk a little bit
course.
more about that?
Well, the injury in college was crazy. It was my next to last game in college. I was playing at TCU, and
Hmm.
I had LASIK surgery in the summer, and I had my cornea flapped off my eye. The next to last game, and I had to sign a waiver just to even come back. And so, covering the eye was very difficult for me because I couldn't have
You
any
got to
more
wear a patch.
contacts. Had to wear a patch, and then every time I would put on a football shield, and I would make contact with the opposite team player, the sweat would get on the shield.
Mm.
And so it was very difficult for me to play. And I wound up signing this waiver and playing and became the MVP of the last game I've ever played in college. It was a Liberty Bowl. And that caused for me, and that gave me an opportunity to get drafted. So going to Atlanta, this was in 2002, we were playing Tecmo Bowl and video games. And I realized that my name was on the back of a jersey. And so I started investigating, man, what is this about? Come to find out, Microsoft was literally down the street, and immediately started going to these community colleges and junior colleges and HBCUs like Morehouse, Spelman, and Clark,
Hmm.
realizing that I was I was deprived of all of this wonderful opportunity with technology because I was just focusing on football. And so immediately, because of the eye injury, it pushed me over to tech. And by being in Atlanta, not even knowing anything about technology, it forced me to fall in really, really in love in tech. And so 2003, I invested all of my 401k, all of my sign-on bonus into wearable technology.
Wow. That is huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's huge. And that's a big gamble too to put all that money into this.
Yeah.
And did you feel like at that time you knew enough about where that was gonna go to do that, or you just was betting on yourself?
But I was betting on myself.
Yeah.
Right. I knew, even like with the Microsoft design that we came up with, it was that I wanted to be able to not be able to rub my eye. I wanted to be competitive in the workforce. The same thing when it comes to safety in the helmet
Hmm.
that we focus on in sports, protecting your brain. You think about it in construction. Same way we want to communicate, which is wireless. I thought about that as well, and so it was actually fun. It was fun designing. It was fun utilizing the technology, and it was fun seeing people's face, realizing that a lot of this stuff was created by brothers. And so,
Yeah.
uh, but uh, but what football did for me with technology, it was give me the finances and the support.
Hmm.
But off the field, I had something that I fell in love with, that people didn't know about, and
Right.
that was developing in technology. So
Right, and that's huge because I think, like you said earlier, a lot of people think about football players, and I think it's like a stigma or like this weird kind of like football players that don't know a lot. That all they know is
mm,
football. They don't really have passions.
right.
They when they retire, they don't know what they're going to do. But you already had this kind of idea planted in you of what you were going to do and how you were going to move when football ended for you.
But yeah, and I give a lot of that to my mom as well as my coaches. By others seeing the way my mom was, about how disciplined she was, about the way we spent, and about how generous we were with bringing people into our homes. It allowed for us to just build relationships. So football to me is every day. The things that I learned in football, I took to the business world. So it was an easy transition to me. It was not this big race to be successful when I've seen it on the field. It's
Yeah.
some of my most times I can be vulnerable. I had no time to be vulnerable. Like if you got 40,000 people looking at you and you're scared and the ball is coming, you have no time to second guess your ideals.
Yeah.
And so when I was able to take it over into the real world, into the workforce, it gave me that competitive edge.
So it also makes me think about like parents that might be scared to put their kids in football and sports when they're younger, but you feel like it's a lot of good skills and qualities they can learn from playing football. So maybe parents should think about some of those things when they're thinking about putting their kids in sports.
And I recommend it, and that's why I'm doing it now.
Yeah.
I started a league. I was fortunate enough to have a daughter. And the reason why I said daughter, other than a son, but women, you guys tend to focus more on everything about the game. And so now I'm able to coach my daughter. And if you have a daughter, I suggest that you put her in some type of flag football. It doesn't have to be the full four contact,
Hmm.
but just learning the game of football, the way you can be competitive, the three languages that we speak: offense, defense, and special teams. What it means to be aggressive, but be submissive to a referee. The way you can compete with your best friend at practice, but then go in the real world and compete without injuring someone or trying to hurt someone. So I suggest and I recommend that everyone at least learn the dynamics of football, not basketball. Basketball is 5 players. Football, 53 people. Could you imagine
Yeah.
having to get used to 53 different personalities every
Mhm.
day? And at any time you're competing, being violent. So, um, so that's what I like about the game. That's what I learned from the game.
Yeah. And then you didn't just start with tech. Beyond tech, you have many other businesses
Mhm.
and many other passions. You
Yeah.
want to kind of talk about the L3C or some of your other passions?
So my passion is structure. We're at that day and age where technology is everywhere, right? But if you don't understand the structure behind business, you're going to fail. And I think that's a lot of things about our community. I was taught, and we were all taught about the basic corporations: LLC, S corp, and a
Hmm.
C corp.
Yes, that's it.
But nobody told us about a B corporation or L3. And so that's what I'm bringing. And I don't like to talk a lot about it because it's
Yeah.
still in the pilot mode. But I believe that if we learn about our L3C, which is a hybrid, meaning that we're going to make a profit, right? We already understand our mission. We know our purpose. We have to make a profit.
Yeah.
But our mission is philanthropists and we're getting. And I think that L3C, if we challenge even our banks, our CPAs to look at this structure, it's going to really show the power of us doing something that can change the dynamics of America. and that's just reincorporating. The next one is B Corps. B Corps, when you have three or more people that are giving, you can now get a certification that you can put on your business. When grants roll down, you're automatically approved. So that's the leverage we need. No more us waiting to get the funding. We need to put ourselves on the paperwork so we can administer the funding. And I think that's where we're at now. And so one of the things that I'm really in love with is the fact that we have an opportunity to start a EB5 service center. A service center is where these foreign investors meet, um, and they bring their projects together, and they sit down, they have big deals and talk about how the funding goes. We now, out of 1,255 service centers, we don't have one service center owned by a Black person. And so I think that's one of the businesses that I'm very excited about, right? Is the EB5 service center. How we're going to pay for it? Technology. And if we really change the structure of our business, we can really change how we move in 26.
Okay. So how do people at home that may be listening when they hear this, how do they begin? How do they start? What do they do? Where do
Well,
they go to learn more about this?
Well, number one is, of course, you can find me. I made it so simple, dunbarl3c.com. If you can't find me there, just research basic structure. Pay attention to the politicians and pay attention to what our president is saying and really do your research. The three things that I give anybody without me is look what an EB5 service center is.
B5 service.
EB5,
Okay.
EB5 Service Center. Know what that is and what it means to open up one, right? I believe that our sisters have the power to open up these service centers. We understand about opening up banks, but think about these service centers. We need to open these up. Number two is if you're a brother of color, Puerto Rican or Black, think about starting the L3C. We got to be valuable. We have to bring something to our women that are tangible. If you ladies are controlling all the wealth, which you do, ladies do, our Black women, you ladies, I want to say spend like a couple of $1 billion a year on hair products and nails and things like that.
Yeah.
So you have the wealth. You have the wealth. You are traveling. You're going to school. But our brothers are the ones that are suffering, right? If you're not an athlete, you're not a rapper, you don't have any finances. But if you restructure your business where you're L3C, now you're more marketable, you're more brandable. You can get a grant or a loan same day. It's not as hard. And I think that's what we need to focus on is giving ourselves some type of structure. So the service center, ladies, is where you can now challenge men to come with structure, with something that's tangible, and then you can control how the money's divided.
So they can come to you suggest they come to us. Well, we first have these service in ourselves. And then they come to us with some sort of a business plan or an idea, and then we can help allocate funds to them. Is that how it would work?
Well, the good thing
The
about
simple
it,
like way.
and we can even make it even simpler
Okay.
because for the sake of this podcast, they don't even have to have any structure. This is what the service center is for. We know what the Texas Workforce Commission does. We know what the unemployment office does.
Mhm.
Those things are going to be closed for a couple of months.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what needs to be opening now. A service center where they come in, right? Foreign investors, they have to invest at least $800,000 or more into a project. It can be a brand new project. But ladies, use what you do best to help us get it. Structure.
Mm.
Help us organize. Tell us what a LLC is. Tell us what an S Corp is, a C Corp. Explain us, let that be the service that you're providing. But when it comes to the business structure, we just need to incorporate it as an L3C because that immediately opens up funding that's never been used for Black men. Now we have something tangible. All right, so these service centers, this is where the foreign investors meet. Our women's own it. Our brothers meet there, and we can now open up new funding and financing that does not ever stop. So that's what we need.
So what are some type of businesses you think or ideas that folks can bring to these service centers that they can get some funding for? Like what kind of if I say I want to open up a beauty supply store, is that gonna be good enough?
Well, let's think above that.
Okay.
Let's say philanthropy. Let's say
Okay.
you want to open up a nonprofit.
Okay.
You want to start your own nonprofit.
Okay.
That's something you can start at a service center,
Hmm.
right? You want to become a coach or a mentor. It's a difference between a coach and a mentor. We got to learn the difference. So a mentor babies you a little bit. A coach is on your ass. So know the difference. All right. Technology. Let's really talk about AI. All right. I have several devices that we have no clue how to work. That could
Yeah.
be something. Let's start developing our own apps.
What kind of apps are we missing right now that you think could be something that we need?
The app to go live, the opportunity to go live. With
Okay.
this new wearable technology, if we could create simple apps where now it's face to face, no more AI. AI is already putting it where you don't know what's real or fake.
That's true.
So now we can create something more simple. We could talk about 100% customer service, meaning that, hey, you hit me up, it's real business. So something like that that we can use on this wearable technology. Meta and these industries that are dominating, they're not creating job opportunities. They're not creating curriculums. They're not creating products. We're just buying something that's duplicated on and on and on.
That's true.
But when it comes to generating wealth, how can we generate wealth? Right? The service center is where people come and the ideas can be simple. Learning how to be a social media influencer is something we can do. Of course, coaching sports. We have the Olympics coming up. How many individuals play and participate in sports, but don't even know the structure of insurance? Right? So we can do simple things that we need, like key man policies, showing them how to fundraise, things outside of the box that's not in a traditional school. I believe it only takes 144 hours to break a bad habit. It only takes 90 days for you to get funding. And so if we shorten the workload, run the education mode, talk about the three things that we know everybody needs: technology, nonprofit, passports, traveling, you need some type of staff, and then skill upgrading. Those will be the three things we can offer at the service center. Keep it simple,
Okay.
right? We want to keep it so simple in 2025, 2026, because we're in the fourth quarter.
Okay.
We don't know when the government's opening back up,
Sure.
but we know we still have a immigration problem. We know we still have individuals that are still trading and buying. We still know that we have communities that still have funding that we don't utilize because they're giving it to individuals that commit crimes instead of people that create businesses. So them the things we need to talk about in the service center. All right. When I started writing grants in 2007, we only had 25 service centers. We have 1,255 service centers.
Wow.
That means it's a lot of money being moved and we're not touching it because we don't even know where it's coming from.
Right. Do you think it's something that's well, is it something that is super Google? Like, if I Google this, I can find actual places where I can pop into a meeting or inquire about joining this meeting. Is it something like because I guess that's the thing. People maybe may think it sounds simple, but it's not, right? Accessing these actual organizations that are actually willing to hear me out. Is that something that like is really feasible for me?
It's
An average Joe.
so what we have to do is I researched the addresses,
Okay.
I researched the phone numbers. I've already made contact to about a couple of hundred of them.
Okay.
But the problem is the reason why I'm talking about it on the podcast, because I believe that we all should be taking our projects in these service centers
Okay.
or letting them know that we will aware. I don't know if you remember 2008, the Community Reinvestment Act. Does that sound familiar? Okay, so the CRA in 2007, 2008, 2009, Obama, they made sure that every bank showed what they were doing with their investments. Community Reinvestment Act. They showed, just like COVID Act, it's an act. Community Reinvestment Act, a bank has to show you where they're lending and giving their money out to now. So if they're not giving money to people of color or people with your ideals, they could get shut down. But we never asked, where are they getting the money from? Where are they getting the money from? Oh, what qualifies you as an EP5 investor is that the person that you're investing in can be a good business or a new business. They just have to create jobs for 10 or more for 2 years. Let's not create another boundary by talking too much for them to put justification on it. That's the requirements. Can you create jobs for 10 or more for 2 years? That's number one. Number two is, are you incorporated? They didn't say you had to be incorporated for 3 or 4 years. You can get incorporated that day as long as you can prove it. What we've done is create curriculums and add technology to make sure that they know that we were serious, because most foreigners like technology, but we're still not in that space. We're in the financing space. We own real estate companies. We're in the insurance space, but we're not in the service center space.
Okay.
And now, when you go to a service center, I've been to two of them. They have an accountant and they have a lawyer. That's all they have in there.
So it's not like a big table full.
No,
Oh, okay. Okay, that sounds more doable now.
right, but we're not in that space because that's the first structure of business. Now, when you become a service center, now business flows. The L3C, the B Corps, LLC, we need to know where the money comes from, and it's not from our banks.
Mhm.
So that's one thing I teach, right? Number two is business structure. If you're going to be a for-profit woman, let me be a nonprofit. If I'm going to be a nonprofit man, you be a for-profit. Let's stop arguing because there's three types of businesses: for-profit, nonprofit, and hybrid.
Right.
And so what we have to do now is really focus on the structure and what you want to be. If you're going to be a nonprofit like me, travel 6 months out of the year. The service center, now I can go and meet these individuals where they're at 6 months out of the year. And if we do that, if we have 500,000 people doing that, 300,000 or 50 people doing that, we will get to where we need to be financially because
Okay.
we're not in that space.
Right. So do you feel like all of this is possible if you don't even have tons of money in the bank? Can a person who's working a regular 9 to 5 still do this?
Well, the goal is for us to have what I learned from writing grants and being a professional athlete. Who is that person? Who is that? Who is your client? So I want to say my client are all Blacks and Puerto Ricans. All right. If you add us by percentage, we're at by 14%, meaning all
Yeah.
Blacks
Yeah.
and Puerto Ricans, 14%.
Hmm.
Okay. Can we get to 20%?
Yeah.
So until we're at 15% or 17%, I'm focusing on all Blacks and Puerto Ricans.
Okay.
All right. Now we break them up in categories, male and female,
Okay. So about 50-50?
50-50, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Then we go by percentage and age, over 45, under 45. You, you realize that Black men in Puerto Rico are only 3% of that 12%.
Wow.
So it's not like it's hard numbers.
Okay.
So now that I'm a 3%er, that means that 97% of the world can listen to this and they still won't get that 3% running. So if 3% of this start talking about service centers, we'll still have enough money and projects to give to our women. Y'all are already winning, but men, how can we win? So maybe Black men be talking about being service centers,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Maybe we need to be the negotiator because it's got to be a meeting point,
Okay.
all right? When I look at the city of Oak Cliff, that's not a when I look at Dallas, the city of Oak Cliff to me is a service center because I can show you a map where it's telling you where the money needs to go. Right? It tells you what people need to come. It tells you what businesses needs to bring, but we're too busy focusing on lending money. I mean, borrowing money instead of being the lender.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if I could talk about anything, I'm sorry. I know.
Yeah.
Again,
It's
the
fine.
three things: the EB5 service center we can focus on. Number
Yes.
two is business structure. But
Mhm.
let's be creative. Let's talk about things that they don't think we talk about. All right. There's three types of universities or schools we've heard about. We heard about the university, we heard about the HBCU, and we heard about the trade school. We never talked about the work college. That's another format. Paul Quinn in
Mhm.
Dallas is a work college. It's only 9 work colleges in the world. Paul Quinn is one of them. We have one in our backyard, meaning you get paid to go to school.
Oh, okay.
Get me?
Yeah.
So let's think outside the box when it comes to this fourth quarter and just call it 4th and 1.
Yeah.
All right. October is the time that you're supposed to be getting ready to get paid to volunteer because this is the time most people get paid to volunteer. November needs to be the time that you're getting upgraded and upskilled, meaning that you're writing off every single thing you've ever done on your 941. And December is the time to travel.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That should be our format.
That's
That's
awesome.
structure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Then January, of course, is a time where you're now bringing in these foreign investors because that's when right at time the Super Bowl and the holidays. So we have the structure. We just got to move accordingly.
Okay.
Right. So, uh, and that's what I want to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think too, can you give our listeners maybe like, I don't know, 3 to 5 like action items that they can do today or
Today.
tomorrow
Okay.
to get started on this? What is the plan? Like wake up tomorrow, research this thing. Like give us like 5 like actionables, maybe if they can be small to
Okay.
get you where you need to go.
I'm gonna give you the 5 things that we don't talk about. Number one is you got to have a SAM,
A what?
SAM ID, SAM. That's your system of one management. That's where you get your 9-digit number to win our grants.
Oh my gosh. Okay. A
All
Sam.
right, Sam. But guess how you
Where
get
do
a
I get it? How do I get it?
Sam.gov.
Oh, okay.
Simple.
And do I just qualify? Like what I gotta put in there?
First, you got to have a Dun& and Bradstreet.
Oh,
You have a Dun& and Bradstreet for your business?
no.
Okay, good. So, all
Dang.
right. No, 3 things though. If you have a business, it might sound crazy to you, but we'll make it simple. All right.
Okay.
Number one, the thing you need to do tomorrow because it's on a certain time you can do it. All right. Get an EIN number.
Okay. Yes.
It's free. IRS.gov. Once you get the EIN number, number two, get a Dun& and Bradstreet. That's your credit. It's free. Dun& and Bradstreet is the number
That's my personal credit or
no,
that's a
for your
business
business.
credit? Do you
right?
have to be a business for a certain amount of time to qualify to get that, or you can automatically get it?
Automatically get it.
Dun& and Bradstreet.
Dun and Bradstreet,
Okay.
right? Then number three, once you get your Dun and Bradstreet, get your SAMNA, System Award Management.
Okay.
That's the three things. Reason why we're not winning is because
You
you
don't
don't
have
have
any
those
of
three
those
things.
things.
Guess how much they cost?
All of
Free.
them are free. Oh, dang. Okay.
You're in the game. The SAM number is what they now utilize to select you for all grants. You don't get that unless you have a Dun and Bradstreet number, which is free. Your Dun and Bradstreet is what they pull, not your Equifax TransUnion Experian. They pull that for your business. That's free.
Okay.
So if you don't even have that, you're not even on the level to get it.
No. Okay. Is it tied? Is the Dun and Brad tied to any? It's just tied to the EIN number.
That EIN number.
Okay.
And you can make have multiple Dun and Bradstreets. I do 2 or 3 a day.
2 or 3 a day?
Yeah.
Okay.
You need to open up a business every day. You can open up one business a day. So I would suggest that you do one a day. Open up a business. So you break, and then the third thing, we gave you 2. EIM, Sam,
Can't
Dun,
say I'm done
Brad.
right.
3
Just need to open
numbers.
up immediately. Okay.
Number 2 is, let me see, product, service, and education. You need to decide what's your product, what's your service, and what will be your education in your business.
Okay.
Product,
How I'm educating others. How I'm
product,
educating myself.
service, and educate, right? What's your product?
So my product would be this podcast.
Okay. What's your service?
My service would be no. I don't know what service.
Provide an opportunity for businesses to talk about
Oh,
their
yeah, duh. Yeah.
consulting.
Consulting.
Right.
Yes. Okay. Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? And
Yeah.
then when you're doing a podcast, everything you do is tax exempt because you're providing education about structure.
Right. Look at that.
Simple. And so I
Okay.
think that's what you can focus on. And then, and just the basic business, for-profit and nonprofit. That's
Okay.
just the structure. Your for-profit is one leg, your nonprofit is the other leg. That's what we say, standing on business.
Yeah.
Have a for-profit and a nonprofit that talks about product, service, education.
Right.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And that's your structure. And then from there, know where the money comes from. The money's don't come from the bank. It comes from investors.
Right.
Okay.
So you gotta go out and get investors. That's a whole networking, finding people to help support your business type of thing though, right?
And we've done that before.
We've
So
done it
this
before.
podcast, we want to talk about EB5 service centers. Let's find them.
Yes.
Let's go there. Let's find out what they said and share the news.
Okay.
Nobody's talking about this. Nobody's
No.
going there. And so most podcasts, they say, yeah, you can go to the Bank of America, you can go to Navy Federal. No. We want to go now to service centers. We
Mm-hmm.
want to know how to partner with you. What projects are you looking for? Right. Where are you investing? And why is it taking so long to get some investments into our community?
Right. Yeah.
Real simple.
Okay.
Right. And I think that should be the start.
Yeah.
And now when it comes to tech, we master tech. We have all the wearable technology from the
Yeah.
photos.
Yeah.
We have the exclusive Microsoft HoloLens 2. I'm the only person in the world that has 2 of these. That's not a Fortune 500 company. So we've also tested out the Meta. So this is technology that investors like. We could train off of these. You can have up to 300 screens in these. You can have maybe 6 screens to this, but we could train remotely. There's no reason why we should be dumb or tied into one space.
Yeah.
All right. There's no reason why you should be captive about what you're learning. I'm literally learning insurance, real estate, and legal aid an hour a day on some technology.
Yeah.
So there's no more excuses. All right. And my daughter, in bless her heart, they said she had a disability, but she is now learning the same thing I'm learning
Mm-hmm.
at 17. She goes to an hour a day. There's no reason why you should say disability, like
Nothing. Yeah.
nothing. The only thing is the structure.
Right.
So let's in 2025, the end of the quarter, get structured.
Yes.
We know who needs to dominate and who's dominating the community are
Mhm.
women. Women, open up a service center. Think about that. Service center, bringing these projects, brothers, start L3Cs. So now when we going to get government funding, when we're writing these grants, they're looking at us like, dang, y'all are a well-oiled machine. You
Yeah.
have a person that's an extension to a school and you have structure letting us know that, hey, we're going to make a profit, but we're going to do it with a mission
Right.
and through tech.
Right. I think that's perfect. And I think that we'll probably wrap it right there.
Yeah,
'Cause
thank you.
we have covered so much
Yeah.
tonight. Thank you so much for doing the podcast. And I think our listeners probably going to get so much out of this. And they'll probably have questions for you. So
Great.
remind them again about where they can go to reach you and how they can submit questions or reach out to you.
Well, I know we gave you a lot, but again, if you want coaching one-on-one, you can go to dunbarl3c.com. or DUNBARL3C.com. You can find me there. And if you're on social media or anything like that, you can just type in the name Dunbar and you can see all the things that I'm doing. And we offer these courses free of charge, and we want to get you structured. So follow me, follow her. Thank you again for this podcast. Thank you again for allowing for me to just talk about whatever I could to get this message across. And so thank you again.
Yes, of course. You have one final tip or advice or final like any quote or anything that you like to say like at the end? Maybe I don't know from football days or something. What got you motivated to like jumpstart you?
Well, I just want to say this. You
Okay.
never know the impact you have or you're living in history because you're living in it. So whatever you're doing, do it to the best of your ability because some of the greats, man, 30, 40 years later, they was recognized. So every day, create your own history. And again, no more excuses.
Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you later.